For as long as Jailbreak has been around, there have been two sides, the police team and the criminal team. Ideally, both provide different styles of gameplay with their own advantages and disadvantages. However, for the past several years, the cop team has been at a major disadvantage compared to the criminal team, and there are several fundamental flaws that hold them back significantly. It's well known that the income of cops is significantly less than the income of criminals, but there are many more issues that go beyond that. In this video, I'm going to discuss what I believe are the major problems with the Jailbreak cop team, and I'm going to give suggestions on how they can be improved. Keep in mind, a lot of this is my own opinion, and of course, I'm not a complete expert on Jailbreak or anything like that. So if you feel differently, feel free to let me know in the comments in a respectful manner. I hope we can get some good discussion going around this topic. I've also split the video up into sections, and I have timecodes in the description, so feel free to skip ahead to whichever part interests you the most. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to like and subscribe, and let's get started. First up, I want to talk about the bounty system. As you know, the current way criminals are given bounties is after they complete a robbery or if they kill a cop. The purpose of them is to put more pressure on criminals and give them more opposition as they continue to be more successful in their robbery ventures. Unfortunately though, there's a lot wrong with bounties conceptually and in practice. Cops should be incentivized to stop crime from ever actually happening. Instead, they're rewarded with the opposite. They're not rewarded if they stop a robbery early. Instead, they're rewarded for letting the robbery carry out as normal. I just find it pretty useless that locations like the jewelry store or the casino put out alerts when criminals start robbing, because there's no point of intercepting it. You'd be better off just camping in the volcano base and waiting for the criminals to go there, as you'd make more money, instead of doing their jobs and making sure criminals don't commit more crime. The way I change this is pretty simple. I'd give criminals their bounty as soon as they start robbing something. Maybe when actually kicking off the robbery, the criminal would receive a small bounty, kind of like how the train works right now. Then they get more and more bounty the more money they get from the robbery. Then, to reward cops who catch criminals early before they rob anything, I'd give them a paycheck bonus. I just think the way bounties are rewarded right now doesn't make any sense conceptually, and it doesn't align with what the objectives of the cop team should be. Now, another problem with bounties is that when criminals are killed, they lose it completely. In my opinion, this might be one of the biggest reasons why cops don't make that much cash. It's because their biggest source of cash is often completely destroyed. This doesn't make any sense to me because bounties don't reward the criminal in any major way, and all the damage the criminal did, like the locations he robbed, doesn't go away. The criminal still did all those things. I don't see why death would negate how desirable he is to catch. It's so easy for criminals to die now, and often their deaths don't have anything to do with the cops. With features like nukes, the mansion robbery, or NPCs, it's actually easier than you think for criminals with high bounties to lose them forever. I really don't see a purpose for this, as bounties don't affect criminals in any way. It only harms the cops who actually need it. The way I change this is also pretty simple. Just let criminals keep their bounties when they die. You can maybe give like 10% to the nearest cop or something, but none of it should be lost forever. It just doesn't make any sense. I think if that was resolved, then cops would definitely be making a decent bit more money. Up next, paychecks. If done right, these could have been a great method for cops to earn money, and they could have also served as the equivalent of a robbery for cops. However, right now, they're still not very helpful, and they're almost completely useless. I'd rework paychecks to give more money if you arrest people with higher bounties, and also give a bonus if you arrest a lot of criminals who haven't committed any crimes yet. This way it gives cops a reason to be alert and crack down on criminals even if there aren't that many in the server. I think with paychecks, the SWAT should be a big increase in money, and I think it could be the equivalent of the duffel bag for cops. Also, cops who arrest a lot of criminals and don't die during the process could get a bonus for surviving. Maybe there could be bonuses for different cop skill sets, like the amount of road spikes people have run over, or even the amount of banks you busted. You could even give cops a paycheck bonus if they deliver the bank truck safely, or if they help protect it. There are a lot of possibilities with paychecks, and I think they are a big way that cops could earn money if done right. I believe that for busy cops, every paycheck should be the equivalent of a robbery. Maybe they should come more often. Who knows? I just think there's a lot that can be done with them, and they're in severe need of some attention as they haven't been touched since 2020. Next, let's talk about teamwork. Being a cop in Jailbreak can be tough, especially if you're facing whole groups of criminals. Unfortunately, there is no good reason for cops to work together as they don't split the money with each other in any way, and they're often just competing for bounties or arrests. Criminals benefit greatly from working with each other. Criminal groups offer protection against cops, and they don't lose anything by teaming. It's not like criminals can steal each other's source of money. In cases like the museum, criminals actually get a bonus if they work with each other. Cops don't get any such benefits. If cops work together, it makes taking on groups of criminals a bit easier, but they're still not really rewarded for doing so. If one cop receives a bulk of damage when fighting another criminal, but another cop swoops in and arrests that criminal, then the cop who did most of the work gets nothing. I would fix this by giving a portion of the money to cops who tase or do damage to the criminal. For example, the cop who does 5% damage to the criminal would get 5% of the bounty or something like that. Of course, these aren't accurate numbers, but I do think splitting the bounty between the people who tase, damage, and arrest the criminal is the way to go. Another idea I have is to let cops have access to the crew vaults. Then every arrest from a cop in a crew would help fill up that vault. It might be too similar to the bank truck, but I do think it is probably a good idea and would give cops another reason to use apartments. I think the game should do more to encourage cop teamwork, and it would help them stand a chance against groups of criminals. Next, let's talk about the SWAT Game Pass. In my opinion, the SWAT Game Pass is easily one of the weakest Jailbreak Game Passes we have, and I would say it's definitely not worth purchasing. Everything good about it can be accessed elsewhere. The SWAT gives cosmetic clothing, which is fine, but it's pretty useless. It also gives a silenced pistol to you, which is basically just an upgrade of the normal pistol. It's a cool cosmetic, but it's useless towards gameplay. The rifle can be bought from the Boss Game Pass, which in my opinion provides better value, and it's more useful for making money. The SWAT shield is incredibly weak. It's really troublesome to use as it slows you down. It often doesn't work, and it has broken several times in the past, and it doesn't allow you to use weapons while you're holding it. The SWAT shield is easily outclassed by the force field launcher, which everybody can buy, actually heals you, and allows you to use weapons while you're using it. It also gives the SWAT van, which is actually a pretty good vehicle, but most people don't play with 8 others. I think SWAT owners will pretty quickly upgrade to something better. SWAT owners also get a decent bonus from the paycheck, but it's not much, and I think it could do more. And finally, there's the phone, which allows you to access cameras on the go. Cameras could be pretty useful since they let you track criminals, but they're in pretty limited spots and there's only 7 of them. Plus, opening the camera menu gives a pretty decent lag spike, and as you can see, my screen is completely frozen as a result. A big reason why criminals make more money is due to the Duffel Bag Game Pass, which pretty much doubles the amount of money they get from robberies. Cops don't get anything like this, and in my opinion, this is another substantial reason why cops don't make as much money as criminals. Now, here's how I would make the SWAT better. First, I'd add a SWAT bonus to all arrests, maybe even double the base amount of money you get from arrests. I'd also add a much larger SWAT bonus to paychecks, and maybe I'd double the amount of money you get from every single sect of paychecks. I also think it's pretty annoying to have to go to a criminal base to look at bounties. I think it would be cool if SWAT owners were able to look at bounties on the go, maybe through the phone, though that would definitely need to be fixed for the lag. And the SWAT shield could be improved by letting people using it use other weapons while holding it, exactly like how it works in prison life. The devs have gradually tried improving the SWAT Game Pass, but every improvement has come with an unjustified price increase in my opinion, and I still don't think the SWAT Game Pass is worth it. With a lot of change, I think it could be a big boost in cop income. And like I mentioned earlier, it could be the equivalent of the duffel bag for cops. Final main category I want to talk about here is the lack of a cop endgame. A big reason why it's hard to find a lot of cops in servers now is due to the addition of hyperchromes. Hyperchromes are only rewarded from committing robberies as a criminal, and myself and many others see the cop team as a big waste of time now, as it doesn't give any hyperchromes or any features like it. Even if all the changes I talked about in this video were added, I'm sure a lot of people would still keep playing criminal because it's the only way they could get hyperchromes. So here's some suggestions I have. First, cops could get some hyperchrome colors of their own. Maybe one could be rewarded from the bank truck. If cops are able to deliver the bank truck safely, the first time they exit the truck with money, they'll have a robbery roll, which could give them a hyperchrome. Maybe they could also get one of those bonus rolls that gives hyperchromes every time cops get a paycheck. Or they could add a totally different cosmetic item that is only obtainable from the cop team and is as rare as hyperchromes. This way, people also have a reason to grind on the cop team. The lack of an endgame feature like hyperchromes is a big reason why people don't play cop as much, and I think they really need something like that to keep the balance between the teams more fair. Lastly, I want to talk about some miscellaneous stuff that I don't think is really worthy of its own section. I think all police HQs should get a spawn for the German Shepherd. It's very tedious to go all the way to the pet store and get one, and I think it would be cool if they just all spawned at the police bases. Then to balance it out, the bulldogs could spawn at all the criminal bases. The cop HQ in the city is not very well designed in my opinion. I don't like how to get to the top. You have to run into one door, then run all the way to the opposite door, then run all the way out, and I think it could be improved design wise. Maybe the floor I'm standing in here could be combined with this floor over here. Nobody uses this target practice. It could easily be swapped out with the police and SWAT stuff and the camera as well. If cops have a helicopter, they are able to glitch inside the jewelry store. Asimo has no intention of stopping cops from getting in, as he believes it's totally fair game for them to go in, but I don't think they should be able to get in through a glitch. Asimo should remove the glitch and let cops enter through the doors. However, criminals inside should be alerted that a cop has entered, like how the casino and the bank work. I really hate when I'm inside and then a cop just randomly comes in and arrests me and I have no idea about it. If the devs want more people to use cameras, they could add a description telling people that they track any criminal that it takes a picture of. I feel like a lot of people don't know this. In fact, I didn't know about it. Finally, I think it would be interesting if the jetpack spawn was relocated to all the level 4 bases. This way, both criminals and cops would have easy access to it, and it would be fair game. In conclusion, the cop team is really flawed, and there are several substantial problems with it. I think it needs a lot of reworking, and several features about it right now just don't work. The cop team has been at a major disadvantage compared to the criminal team for years now, and I think it's about time something was done. Asimo mentioned 2023 is the year of refinement, and there is no better thing to be refined in Jailbreak than the dynamic between cops and criminals. Though I'm sure there are problems with the changes I've suggested, I've tried my best to come up with ideas of how the cop team can be improved, both in terms of gameplay and the amount of money they make. But all in all, no matter what happens, I just want to see some sort of improvement. The cop team is one of the most fundamental parts of Jailbreak, and it needs just as much love as the criminal team gets on a regular basis. If you agree with this feedback, please make sure to share it with other people, and hopefully we can raise awareness about the issues the cops face. If you disagree with me though, please make sure to let me know in a respectful manner. I think this is a really good topic of discussion, and I would love to hear your thoughts. Let me know if you enjoyed this style of video, and if you would like to see me make more videos covering what I believe to be fundamental problems of Jailbreak and possible solutions. If you like what I do here, please consider liking and subscribing. Every bit of support means so much to me. Anyways, thank you guys again for watching, and I hope to see you later.